Come on. Yeah.
It is time. I was getting time. Yes, it is time. Hello.
And yes, we're still here.
We
but
are.
we do go home during the week. We don't stay here all the time.
Well, you might not, but I certainly do. That's what
well,
it
you
feels
do.
like anyway.
Yeah, he does actually live here, that's true.
Heather was super organised tonight, and I was really embarrassed because I've been quite busy this week, so my bit's handwritten down on a bit of boggerol, and I got this lovely pages document sent through about 2 hours ago, and it was like, oh, thanks very much for showing me up.
I've been busy this week too.
But
I've been celebrating birthdays. And
look at that, I've even got the names in the right place this week. You're not impressed?
that is quite impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to have to announce them. You should know who it is by now anyway.
Yeah, we do have a very special guest in today, who I have to say has their own intro. We've been playing around today, or I've been playing around this week a bit. So, but we're going to crack on with. It's here we go again. Here's the news highlight of the week. Yeah.
We've got to start with the weather.
It's
The weather.
been-
So we've seen off Storm Ciara, and now we're on to Storm Dennis.
Why couldn't they call it Dusty? That would have been so much more appropriate for us.
Is there a special department that
I don't know.
comes up
They'll
with the
probably
names
get paid hundreds of thousands of pounds
to say, what are we going to call this one?
Yeah. Anyway,
Have they ever doubled up a name? I mean, have they ever thought, oh, I forgot, 10 years ago we'd one of them, we can't call it that? Or does it have them?
I don't know. I'm sure they don't do that sort of thing. But there's the putting green. That was yesterday. These photographs are courtesy of Jay Kelly, which is one of Carter's friends. The kids went down for a walk around and they came back, and I ended up doing tumble drying for about half an hour, I think. Someone lost their car in the car park.
There's cars right at the back there as
I
well.
know, there was one that was actually getting waves coming over the top of it. And then there was this little video he took of the boathouse.
But the boathouse
sitting
is
rather
okay because
stranded.
it's still above the water.
Yeah.
Well designed.
Yeah, but serious weather yesterday, high tides and lots of rain.
Well, seemingly Storm Dennis is not going to be so windy, but it's going to be a lot wetter. And with the ground being saturated already, this is a big problem.
And if you go onto the BBC Scotland certainly have got the pictures. You've probably seen the ferry coming into Ardrossan at strange angles. And I do have to say that this comment from Robbie Drummond I don't think is necessary. He's saying, consider those who consider to press CalMac for taking more risks. I'm sorry, that's just not on. We do not, Mr. Drummond, or most of us that I know don't press CalMac for taking risks. What we're pressing you for is better ships and better harbours. It's as simple as that. It's easy and inexpensive for us to say, oh yeah, you want to take a risk, but
we need a ferry service.
You know
that
the
works.
problems, and one thing I'll say from last week and this week, and we've been very careful not to be too political about it. But one thing I would say is we don't want to upset people that are coming in the future, either spring or summertime. So if you're watching this from anywhere and you're coming over, don't worry. This is a temporary thing. It's mostly to do with the weather. We do get our own little technical difficulties, I think, but we're not here to say don't come to Arran. We're just here to say that we are actually going through what you would expect with this kind of weather situation where it's particularly bad, and the ferry service is also not great because we're still relying on a ship that we should no longer have. So this is all sort of pressuring the government, really. Not that Nicola Sturgeon or anybody else will be watching. I knew that was going to fall out. But it's really just don't worry about it. We'll have plenty
we usually
of
have
plenty
two
of
ferries
boats
in the summer,
Yep.
so at least if one goes down, we've still got another one.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But at one
and it's
point,
a great place to come. Yes.
At one point last week, I mean, I think the co-op did very well, and I know they support us and give us cakes. But
lovely cakes.
I had to go.
Actually, I have to say it's already been opened.
Yeah, we went in last week, or I went in last week, and I chatted to a few people in the shop, and they still said, and I don't know whether you guys experienced this as well, but they still said we managed to get all we wanted. And I think the supplies in the co-op this time were, I think because they knew the storm was coming, we did all right, actually. Certainly there was enough beer.
People do panic buy. I mean, it's the same at Christmas or holiday time.
But
they buy enough, and it's only the co-op only closes for about 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they do an amazing job.
Anyway,
They
crack
do.
on. Let's get away,
They do.
away from the weather.
So, ferry.
Yeah, we've done that, I think. Yeah. Ferry.
Ferry's off.
We would put the. We're not going to put the WTF. We know where the ferry is. It's in Brodick at the moment. So, but it has been fixed.
Did anybody win the mug?
Nope.
So is it still up for grabs?
Somebody was close. They said the 11:05 on Wednesday, but the first ferry last week was on the 8.
It's not that one. It's the other one anyway. It's
So,
the
yeah.
WTF mug.
With
It's got Dory in it.
yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah, I just put Dory in it
Yeah,
because I like
okay.
Dory. I
I
relate to
Nobody.
Dory.
No, we're going to keep that. We're not even going to give it to the person who thought it was the second boat because that's just not on. They've
Oh, we
got to-
could
they've
put
got to
another
get it right.
question up for that one.
Well, we'll think about it. Oh, you're putting me under pressure now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like the cheese twists I brought in?
Very nice. I'm smelling the wild garlic. It's
Yeah,
beautiful. I didn't
we-
realise it was ready yet. I mean, normally I look out for it, but I haven't seen any up there. Glen Ashdale, I normally pick it.
We have someone coming on associated with wild garlic. How about that? That's your clue.
Homemade pesto and all sorts of wonderful stuff.
Right, we're going to talk about glamping. Are we?
Okay.
Or do you want to do? Do you want to do the? Are you
No.
going to do it from the top of your list down, or let's just do glamping?
So, okay. We're glamping.
We have a new facility opening at Balmichael, which is great because it hasn't seen much action down there for some time. And these folks are opening not only Balmichael glamping. That to me,
That is glamping.
yeah, that kind of it looks like one of those tents you see in a World War One film, in a World War Two film in Burma, doesn't it? It's that kind of rustic sort of.
I'd like photographs of the
But
inside. That would have been nice.
Well,
because,
yeah, I don't think they have them all structured up yet, but
I mean, it's actually glamorous camping. That's where the word comes from.
but they've got a couple of them coming over, 2 or 3 of those coming over, and they've got some of these which are fantastic. Look at that.
That's a hobbit house.
It-
That should be sunk into the hill. It's
that's
a
awesome.
hobbit house.
And the good thing with that is that if you don't like the residents, you just take out the chocks underneath and they just go rolling down the hill. But no, I think these are great. In conjunction with Balmichael Glamping, they've also got alpacas coming. Now, I spoke to these guys last week, and the alpacas aren't quite here yet, but they are on their way. So we'll have Aaron alpacas.
Are they just going to be roaming about while you're in your
Well,
your luxury
I'm
tent?
I'm sure they've got them chained up or fenced up or whatever they do to alpacas.
So that's Emma and
Balmichael.
Tom Jessup that are doing that.
That is, yes, that's Emma and Tom Jessup, and they're setting up this. So it's great to see Balmichael being used again for something a little bit different.
So they're opening in the spring, I think.
Yep, I think that's the plan.
They're opening in the spring.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to
It'll
that.
be good.
I'd quite like to go in the wee hobbit house, see what it's like in there.
Okay, I'll just go back to my coffee. Go on then, you carry on.
Well, we've also got the yurts, which are down in Komori. They've been there, I think, for a couple of years now. In fact, if I'm right, I think they won an award. I'd love a yurt. I think yurts are fabulous things. You know, I could have one in the bottom.
Sorry, which sounds funny to me. I'd love a yurt. Yeah.
Well, that's glamping
Nothing like
as well. I mean,
nothing like a good yurt.
They've got their own private bathroom, wood burning stoves, cookers. They've got everything in it. It's
So they're-
luxury.
Pretty much a house then.
Yeah, in a yurt. I mean, that's the Mongolians live in them quite often. You know, I mean, that's where they came from.
Okay.
So yeah, I like that idea. I mean,
Okay.
maybe not in the winter. I don't know how. I'm sure they're obviously still standing in the winter.
You've got stuff on your list that I've not even seen yet. What's this?
the Arden Vets.
Go on then.
Oh, that's a different thing. I didn't realise this. I saw this going up in the community page that rhododendron leaves kill sheep. And this is interesting. Azalea, Pieris laurels, and yew are similarly toxic. So it's basically the vets, Arden Vets, were saying, can you take care when you're disposing of your garden clippings? Because if you dump them in an area, which you shouldn't really be doing anyway, where there are livestock, that could...
It's been long tradition on Arran, and I don't know whether it's stopped now, and these are the people to ask, whether people still dump stuff on the beaches. No, you're saying no. Yeah, it is bad, I know, and I caught my dad doing it once, and I said, Dad, you stop. I mean, it all drifts out to sea, and then
I've seen it happen in Whiten Bay. There's
Yeah.
people take it. They usually
I
burn
think-
it down
I
there.
think it's, well, that's fair enough, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But I didn't realise how toxic these things were. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying you as in Y-E-W, not you weren't looking at me then. I'm toxic to sheep. That will start off yet more rumours.
So it's interesting. So if you're going to dump your garden rubbish somewhere where you shouldn't, make sure there's no sheep in the field
Indeed.
when you do it. But it is a good point. That's the vets that put that up.
Good.
The other wee piece of news, which I thought was really nice, is the Kilmorey community shop It's all stocked up and ready to go for Storm Dennis if you don't feel like going out and about, which can be a bit scary if there's things flying or there's flooding in the road. But the nice thing about this wee shop is that all the profits go straight back in to the hall funds. So it's a good thing to have.
Cool.
It's a nice, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
We have a new name for a shop in Brodick. This is something that I've struggled with. I had Aaron Graphics above my shop here for so long, and people just thought it was a graphic design studio, irrespective of the fact I had souvenirs in big letters next to it. So now we just have a shop front that just says shop. But Castle Bay Studios, I think, has struggled with not being an art studio and a jewellery studio instead. So they are now being called Ad Astra, which means reach for the stars.
Oh, that's lovely. I like that.
Bit like the cake we have.
It's
with
got
stars on.
we've got stars in the cake.
So we're having a starry day today. But yeah, there's the signs for Castle Bay Studios next door to Bells of Aaron will be Ad Astra from, I think, from Monday next week. I just dropped the signs in the other day, so that's a little change for the...
Has it got stars on it?
No, they didn't ask for stars.
Oh,
I'm
well,
sorry.
it should have stars.
The customer's always right, you know. I took a picture this morning, and I've sent it to you before, but that was up at Merkland Wood this morning. I know there's a big push to get tourists over here in the winter, but unless it's a day like today and they're already here, it was actually quite dry out this morning. It was very, very pleasant out this morning.
No, it was sunny when I got up this morning.
And
it was bright
that
and sunny.
was rather nice to go up to the waterfalls. And at the moment, the waterfalls are fantastic. So we've got all that happening at the moment. But yeah, there's a lot of runoff of the water, a lot of standing water everywhere. There was seaweed on the shore road opposite Aaron Active on Tuesday, was it, guys? I think. When was the really high tide? Well, it was yesterday as well, I suppose. But we've had seaweed on the road quite recently, on the shore road in Brodick. That's how bad the tides have been. So,
Is that next to where the golf course used to be?
Yes, yeah, the golf course was seriously underwater again.
Does it recover really quickly?
It does. It's amazing. I said that to Carter. We were walking past, and it just goes, and they've got good drainage there, I think, and it tends to be reasonably good. I think. Oh, the other thing was. And I know you've got that to do. The other thing was, and I mentioned this on the what do you call it, Facebook page? Yes, thank you. We have a YouTube channel now. So what we're doing is we're uploading all the shows onto YouTube. So if you know of people that say, "Oh, I can't watch that because I haven't got Facebook," if you get them to search for "Whoa!" Aaron Live, then you'll find the YouTube channel. The logo is very noticeable. It's that very bright colours we've got on the mug. Yeah, thank you. And so we've got them uploaded onto YouTube. And if there's another format we can do, we'll do it as well. We'll think about Instagram and stuff like that. We've got Heather Snowden is saying, on the topic of sheep, you shouldn't give horses grass cuttings either.
I know ragwort is very bad for horses. That's the yellow flowery one.
Yes, yeah. I actually thought about buying a horse and Aaron once. I used to go riding down at Black Waterfoot with Dawn. Yeah, I used to go quite a bit down there, and that was always something in the back of my head. If I ever got a horse, not to put it in a field full of.
I like horses at a
weeds,
distance. No, my sister was the horsey one. Well, still is a horsey one actually. She had a horse, but there's far too much work. No. Get up really early in the morning and do all sorts. And yeah, my dad used to say it was £10 just to put your hand on the receiver of the phone before you even lifted it, if you know. I don't know what it is now, but I imagine it's a bit more.
Did you put any sugar in this?
No. Sweet anyway.
Right. Moving right along, you've got Kilmorey Community Shop.
I've done that.
You've done it?
No,
Have you?
no, I'm
Where
up to
was I?
date. I am
Was
up
I
to
here?
date. I don't know. You were thinking about the cake actually.
All right.
I
Well,
think.
as I say, we've got our guest coming on, and I've been saying they. One of them's not coming on unless they want to. She's doing this. So this week we have actually got a special introduction for our guest.
Some people say he was born in the woods. that he lived his early life up there in the trees. That's unbelievable. It really is.
And of course it's Mark Bunyan. Of course it is. After that wonderful, I thought, introduction.
Yes, thanks for having me.
I must thank, actually, the guy said he would try and watch this. A guy called Anthony Morantz who did the voiceover for that, and he comes from Mississippi, and he does voiceovers and has a radio show out in the States, and he's got this lovely deep voice. I thought we'd go overboard.
Very good. You'll know what the ferry's doing.
we do know what the ferry is doing. Thank you. Yes, yeah. You are our WTF guest of the day, I think.
Thanks very much for inviting me along.
Well, it's nice to
it's
have
lovely
you.
to have you. Lovely. And wow, we brought some really lovely things in too. I'm smelling the garlic. The garlic's beautiful.
Can you try a little bit?
Try a wee bit. Can I just a wee bit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
just
quite a punch to it usually.
So, for those of you who don't know Mark,
he's just
and
trying
that
to
is
keep me quiet now. If I'm eating, I can't talk.
that's anybody that's not living on Arran, of course. Mark is well known for his woodwork skills, chainsaw skills in particular, and foraging for doing
Bits
a
and
bit of
pieces,
the
yeah.
old What was the guy's name that used to do it on TV before Bear Grylls? There was another chap who used to do it.
Ray Mears.
Ray Mears, that's the
Yeah.
guy. Yeah. So this is our local. You've got some pesto there as well. haven't
I
you?
know. There's two different types. What's the difference
So the small jar is made of wild garlic. It's wild garlic pesto. So it's got wild garlic,
Oh, it's gorgeous.
rapeseed oil, Parmesan cheese, and walnuts in it.
Walnuts.
Yep. The other one has got all of the above, but it's made with olive oil and toasted pine nuts. It's got quite a kick.
Oh,
to
it's
it.
quite different.
And I put salt and pepper in that one, but not in that one, just because I forgot to.
You smell the difference between that one. It's a definite difference.
I'm not smelling. I'm eating. I had very little lunch today.
Is the wild garlic stronger, do you think, at this time of year than it is later
Yeah,
on?
when it first comes out, which it's not been out for long, I always think it's the first signs of spring, believe it or not. The small leaves, these are just getting on now, but the smaller leaves have a real punch to them.
I mean, I gather it if I'm out on a walk, I'll gather
Yeah.
some up and just chuck it in the soup or anything we're having, just put some in. It's supposed to be really good for you too.
Yeah, yeah, I think it kind of purges the winter out of you. But you can eat the leaves, the bulbs, and when the flowers come out, the wee white flowers, you can eat the wee white flowers. Are really
Oh, can you eat the
peppery.
flowers too? Oh, I didn't realise you could eat them.
It's not going to come as a surprise, but Ian Staples is saying, "Where's Donkey Shrek?"
Oh, thanks very much, Ian. You will suffer for that.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. And Betty's is saying hi to you, Heather.
Oh, hello, Anne.
There you go.
Yeah, lovely.
Chris is mentioning North End sheep can often be seen eating grass waste and sheltering under the rhododendron bushes. Maybe they are just extra tough. I will film them at some point for YouTube. That's very good, Chris. Yeah. Don't give up your
when
day
you're
job.
talking about these clippings and whatnot, I know the yew tree gets known as the death tree because it's in graveyards, the smoke off it, the sawdust off it, everything's toxic off it.
Also, the lore behind it, if you read into the folklore behind the yew
Yeah.
tree, it is associated with
Yeah.
death.
Now, I stole one of your photographs off Facebook the other day because you've been to the layman, you've been playing around with ladders and chainsaws,
That's
but
correct.
not quite as simple as that, is it?
It's that'll be my Alaskan mill, I think.
Yep.
So it's basically a frame that my big saw goes onto. You use a ladder to get your datum, your first cut. Once you get your first cut and the first slab off, then you have a flat surface in the mill, then rides on that to give you subsequent, hopefully even slabs.
Right.
You can do all sorts with it, and I've also got another one which is actually a rail mill, which is different. You roll the log onto it, but it only takes smaller stuff, and it's, shall we say, a little bit more accurate, a better finish, as you know your timber. At the
Well, yeah, I
timber
mean,
shop.
I got two of Mark's, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago? I think it probably was 2
Yeah.
years ago. Two 14-foot pieces of larch that I still say to this day it was too cheap, but you're just going to charge me now extra. But they're 14 feet long, 14 inches wide, and they are cracking bits. And there was no need for me to sand them, so your chainsaws must be
Yeah.
uber sharp.
Yeah.
And how quick does it take to go from one end of a plank to another?
Oh, it varies depending on what you're milling. It was softwood, obviously it was a bit quicker, but the oak I was doing the other day it was quite hard. Beech is pretty brutal and everything, and you're often doing a sharpen every sort of third pass or so. But yeah, it's all a bit of a science, and to be honest, I'm still learning myself. You know, still.
And what do you do with all this when you've cut it? Are you selling them as huge?
I do sell some of it, yeah, sell it on, yeah. And I've got loads in storage. It's trying to get a bit drier. That's the sort of.
So if
secret. It
anyone
just
wants a
doesn't work
really
on it.
nice big piece of wood,
Yeah, I don't have much hardwood just now. I've got a bit of softwood. Yeah, bits and pieces
Of course, you're most well known for your mushrooms.
Do you think?
I think so. I think so.
I certainly can't make enough
Well,
of them during the summer.
well,
I really can't.
I've got to put
Our
a plug in.
beautiful assistant Tracy.
I was
Pearson.
going to say I have to put a plug in there because Tracy's actually here, but Tracy has them down at Island Porcelain, don't you? Just at the Island Porcelain, not at the boathouse, the moat house as it should be at the moment. But yeah, those mushrooms. That's one in my garden with a naughty dog, a rather naughty dog.
what started that? What?
Well, when before I left school, I was working in a local sawmill, and then went on to felling trees, and so I always had the chainsaw skills, and I just literally gave it a go one day, and it's gone from bad to worse. No, I just gave it a go, and I just don't have enough time to do it all. I'd like to sort of hone my carving skills a bit, but it's just finding the time.
Do you
to
think though you'll? I mean, I was saying to you before we came on, you know, why aren't you doing this full time? And you said, well, it's a lack of wood and a lack of demand. I don't think there's a lack of demand, surely. I mean, you know how much I love wood.
It really depends what Ferry's doing.
I mean, the whole place is the whole place here is covered in wood, and I've got wood in my house, and I would buy this stuff until I was completely living in a log cabin.
You're part of you take part in the Inspirations in Wood.
Yeah,
with Marvin and.
Yeah, that was Marvin's idea.
That's quite an event, that. There's all these
It's-
people out with chainsaws carving things.
This is
and-
Marvin Elliott from Corrie, who's known
Yeah.
for doing very, very intricate carvings of the seal on Corrie Shore. Is one of his off the shore.
Yeah, he does a lot of
and
stuff.
otters with coming through glass
Yeah.
top tables and all that kind of thing.
And then there's who does the big Alice in Wonderland characters?
Oh, that's a guy called Robert Koya, who came to work here with Marvin. He served his time with Marvin. It must be, Robert will probably correct me, I think it's around about 22, 23 years ago.
Wow.
And he served under Marvin, then he went off and did some amazingly big carvings, like full-size
Yeah, they
elephants
really
and
are
all
big.
sorts. Yeah. Robert comes over for it and brings the Alice in Wonderland characters with him. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And Henry Murdo also, he has a big input in it. He's one of our committee, Henry and Margot. And Henry's kind of gone back to, Henry was a bagpipe maker, as you know.
Yeah.
And he's gone back to carving now. He says he's retired from bagpipe making. I don't think he'll ever retire from it. But he's going back to doing more carving. His carvings, again, they're amazing. Everybody's got their own style.
So is that? I mean, it's been going now. Is that 3 years? It's
Don't ask me. I honestly can't remember now. It's such a blur when we do it.
yeah. It's a great event. I mean,
I think it's 3 actually.
I think it's not. Is it normally in August?
Well, that's another thing. We're so disorganised. We left it too late to book the hall last year, so we had it a bit later. So we're going to try for July. I think we're going to try for
I
July.
think I should start renting out my garden.
Oh, it's
Yeah, well, the mess is
a,
terrible.
but the Inspiration is a really good
You
event.
should see after Dusty's been digging holes.
Yeah, it's a great event. I love it. It's anything to do with wood, inspiration of wood, and it is anything to do with wood.
Well, even Johnny McClellan goes. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the luthier. I mean, he makes beautiful
He's a fellow
guitar.
Corrie man like myself. He said that's why I invite Johnny along.
There you go. I just go along for the chat and take a harp
cup of
along
tea.
because it's made of wood, but I
Yep.
didn't actually make it. I did make one of them, funnily enough. I
Really?
did. Yeah, no, I made one of my harps. I made a Bohemian harp. So I do have
a lot
one
of
that I
work in
made.
that.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of
You
work
brought
in
a
that.
couple of bits in.
I did. These are not bits of harp, no. It's really just to
Bits
show
of Heather's
different types of wood. This actually is a bit of elm, and this was from a tree that was blown down behind the Ranger Centre in Brodick. In fact, I think the Ranger Centre have got a bit polished up. Henry did a bit, so I milled it up, and then we divvied it up between myself, Henry, and Marvin. So this is a bit of elm. How your
That's
camera
actually
picks this up.
it's a lot darker than I would have thought. When
Well,
you
that-
say elm, you're thinking something
this-
lighter.
I darkened this because I used a food grade oil on it, and it darkened it. Unfortunately, it was a bit of an experimental on this. I don't think I would use the same food grade oil.
It's
again,
really
it did
nice,
darken
though.
it.
It's brought
You
up
can see
all the
ripples
grain.
in it and whatnot. And elm comes up with a really high polish, really good. And I've actually got bur elm, which is I suppose it's really more of that. That's like a bur in it. I've got some really big stuff. Polishes up fantastically, but a nice wood to work with. But I don't know if you can see along that. It's still, this has not quite behaved
wee bit
itself.
of a
This
bend,
board, yeah. And elm is a bit notorious for that. The one that the garlic's sitting on is that's a bit of larch. I've had a lot of larch actually from the castle. Milled at
Carefully put that down there.
200.
sorry.
I'm trying to think what that
bloody
effect
cat.
Leave the cat alone.
It's just a cat.
I milled up a 220-odd-year-old larch up at Brodick Castle, and I think that's a bit of it. And the counters in the new cafe, they're made from it, and then I got some of it. We did a sort of deal with the castle.
Oh.
This is I love a bit of oak. Again, oak is one of these woods. It either loves you or hates you.
And that's lighter than I was expecting. Oh no, actually that's probably about right, isn't it? For
This
yeah.
was oak from a blown tree in the Corrie Shore.
Right.
Again, this one's not just quite behaved itself. And I really struggle with oak. I've never found any decent oak yet. It just seems to warp and warp. But again, maybe if it was kiln dried rather than dried natural, it might help. Don't know. But yeah, I do like my woodworking.
How long does it take to do something like that then?
Do you know, I couldn't put a time in that because I do a bit and do a bit of something else and do a bit of something
But
else.
would it be not? I mean, it's just access to wood, really, isn't it? Because if you had the access to the wood, then you would go out and buy yourself a big
bigger
a big
bandsaw and a
router
bigger-
or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
and
that's
then
right, yeah,
you'd
yeah.
make chopping boards and sell them in Tracy's
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
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 Yes, you say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
There's a demand there, I think, from your missus rather than.
Turn Tracy's shop into woodworking shop. Is that cattle? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
But yeah, that's the
Well,
woodworking
just
side.
Aidan, not only did you bring those props in, but we actually have brought one. Is this what?
This is
We're getting caught up with cables here.
that's a sort of mid-range saw. That's a pretty new one to me. That's a Husqvarna 572, which is a 70 odd cc saw. Takes a slightly bigger bar than what it's got, but the one I use is about 120 cc saw for the milling.
Mind the pesto.
It's got a bit more guts and whatnot. And
Right.
people use stills as well, but to be honest, I wouldn't waste my time with a still. You're much better with Husqvarna.
How heavy is that? Is it really?
Sure.
Yeah, can I have?
Oh, I've got to get a video of this.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because you look at it and you think, I see you guys, when you're carving and you think, can't be that heavy, but
It might take a wee bit pulling to get that out of the log, but it's kind of pulled
it's not going to
straight.
go on if I look
No,
at
no,
this. It's
no,
not
no.
going to suddenly start.
Watch the tripod behind you. That's all.
Okay. Ooh,
See,
right.
that's not bad. That keep pulling, on you go. Is it out?
No.
Do you want a wee hand? Oh, that's
Here we go. That's
Oh,
still if
dear.
you were doing something with that.
Les,
Well,
Les, if you're watching this,
one of the local cutters.
I would get very worried.
One of the local tree cutters, Alan Picken. Alan's just got one of these as well. So I use that sporadically, but Alan has his in his hand for most of the day because he's felling all the time, felling softwoods. So it does tire you a bit.
Yeah, I was thinking. I mean, if you were lifting that for any length of time, I would notice that.
Yeah.
Charles Curry's asking, is that Mark or his friend who's always asking Facebook questions for?
Definitely me, Charles. Thanks for asking.
It is definitely him. This is absolutely. Which one did I have last time?
I think you had the small jar, I think.
So you could go into this commercially as well, couldn't you? Mark, you've got so many business opportunities here, and I just don't think you're
See the mess I left the kitchen
just don't-
last night making that lot.
I just don't think you're utilising your time properly, mate.
We were talking about this earlier about foraging and finding things, and on the island. There's so much.
I'm just looking, Ian. There's no way I'm reading that comment out. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
There's so much free food, but there's a lot of it. I think, oh, that looks like, and I'm not
got to be
sure.
spot on with it.
Yeah, I'm always very wary. I err on the safer side. I mean, garlic and things I recognise now.
Yeah.
Mushrooms, don't touch because I'm really not sure.
That one's
Hot.
A bit more punch to it.
it's got a lot more garlic in it. That's for sure.
Did you try just a bit of the garlic? It's really strong just now.
I'm not trying that. If that's really strong, that's already blown my socks off, or my
Good
teeth
stuff.
out.
So
But-
do you run? Would you run
I've
courses?
done a few, yeah. Mushrooms are a real specialised thing, and I bring in Mark Williams of Galloway Wild Foods. And Mark, it's his thing. He does a lot of foraging, but his thing is mushrooms in particular. What he doesn't know about mushrooms is not worth knowing.
He's known about mushrooms since I met him 26 years ago, working at Kilmickle, and he used to wait on tables at Kilmickle, and he used to take the afternoons off and
Go.
disappear when Jeffrey and Anthony didn't see him. Just disappear into the forest
Yeah.
and come back with all these chanterelles and all these other mushrooms.
He's a real flair for it. He's been doing it for so long
Yeah.
as well, and it's just
Yeah.
a passion he's had.
But even things down the beach. I mean, there's so much, seaweeds and different things down
I do.
there.
I'm continuously learning as well.
There's a thing. a thing in Canada called a fiddlehead. Now, do you get access to anything like that in this country? Fiddleheads?
It's the top of fern.
Yeah,
ferns.
the tops of ferns.
It's not something I'm up on, if I'm honest.
No, in Canada they do these, and they fry them with what nature intended, which is smoked back bacon.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely gorgeous. They're just like it's like a hot salad.
Are they chewy?
No, they're quite crunchy. But
It's just
it
you get the
depends.
fern just before it unfurls then, obviously.
Yeah, it depends how you cook them. But yeah, we used to cook them with butter and black pepper and some back bacon in Canada, and lovely. Yeah, different. Robin Bowles, hello from Huddersfield. Where are you webcasting from? Just my shop. Robin, this is just the shop at Cladach next to the brewery.
Hopefully we'll see you and Anne up soon. That'd be
We
good.
are hoping to do a couple of other broadcasts from different places. We're going to have to fairly soon because I'm going to need my shop on a Sunday afternoon come Easter. But we're hoping to get a few people offering their premises, business premises and stuff. And we're already making inquiries. So hopefully we'll be out and about a bit more. And the other thing is we can also broadcast from my deck, which has got goat fell behind it and stuff. And that might be quite nice come days when we can actually
Get out in the garden, outside. Oh, that'd be nice.
yeah, instead of getting out and
We're going in the right direction for the weather.
starting
Yeah, we're
swimming.
heading.
Yeah.
So the other thing you I mean, I don't know where you find the time, but you're making beautiful pestos and all sorts of things. Mountain Rescue.
Mountain Rescue.
How long have you been in that? Long time.
25-ish, probably a bit more than 25 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Very much a back seat now, but yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of laughs, sort of.
Do you still have the pager though for it?
Well, it's we have what we call it's a call out system. You're texted or whatever.
Right.
It's good. Yeah, still get it.
Yeah.
Still respond to it.
because they do disappear up our little gravel track here and disappear up the mountain
Argo cats.
quite frequently in the summer to go and rescue some person in
Yes.
flip flops.
It's been fantastic, and I have to say the team. It's big changes over the last 25-ish years where the what used to be called the Mountain Rescue Committee of Scotland, they're called Mountain Rescue Scotland now. They're our sort of governing body, and each team is a charity, and they have got themselves together and they run really good training courses, rope work, emergency medical technician, all these things. So everybody's singing for the same hymn sheet now.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Big changes in our team. One of the biggest changes I saw was when we got the first Argo Cat, the 8x8 vehicle. And it doesn't move that much faster than a man over ground, but it takes all the kit and everything, so everybody's a bit fresher when they get there.
Yeah.
A wee funny about that, when we got the first one, I was driving it one day, really clagged in day, up North Glen Sannox, up towards the back of the Witch's Step, myself and one other member, the kit and everybody out, and off they went to do the rescue, and they went up onto the Witch's Step, and they brought they walked the person off just down the ridge. So me and this other team member, who's actually left the team now, walked back down, but this time the cloud had come right down. Couldn't find the Argo Cat. So the chaff on the radio was pretty funny. Has anybody seen an Argo Cat? And eventually just walked onto it. But it was a lot of really good times in the team.
Do you ever have, is it ever difficult to get new team members? Because you've got to be really, there's so many things, you have to be fit.
Well, no, as I say, you need to have two things to join the team, in my opinion is, one is be able to look after yourself in the hill before you try and look after anyone else. Another is a really good sense of humour.
Well, I was gonna touch on that because Ian's busy sending you messages through
I can feel my phone vibrating in my pocket.
and I think one of the things that another reason I wanted you to come on was because you're a bit like me. You have that very sort of sarcastic, satirical sense of humour. You don't take
Not at all.
Facebook seriously, and I think what makes a lot of locals sort of put up with Facebook at this time of year is people like you and maybe me and a few others as well, having this repartee with people. And you've got this thing with Ian Staples. He's saying you only wear slippers in the base.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's correct. Ian.
But-
One day you're aspiring to that, Ian. I understand that.
But there's this lovely rivalry between, and you've generated, your own catchphrases and all that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I think it's really quite fun. Always asking what the ferry's doing, and people locally know exactly that you're just there to you'll get our Wooden Spoon of the Year award, I'm sure.
I have to ask, sometimes when I don't do serious climbing, I don't like, when it gets into ropes and things like that, but just walking, I like hill walking. But even hill walking, you see people going out, in plimsolls and just not suitable attire for it. They don't understand. I mean, Goat Fell is still a mountain. It's not. It's not just a big hill. If somebody does something really, really stupid, you know, like flip-flops and gets stuck, do you give them a row? I mean, do they get a
no, not
talking
at all.
to?
Not
or
at all.
do you just,
we've had a few daft ones, obviously, and, you know, we had a guy up in the saddle with golfing shoes on and all sorts of things, but...
Had you lost a golf ball or something?
That side of it, we don't really entertain. Maybe the team leader, deputy leader may have a word, I don't know. But generally the local police deal with it, you know, and give them a bit of a talking to, because we're tasked by the police to do all these jobs. That's who tasks us.
I mean, obviously you're not going to give them a row because, you know, you're just pleased that they're okay. But there is a wee bit of awareness, and sometimes people do, you know, I've seen people with push chairs trying to make their way up, and you think, you know what, not the most clever.
I stop probably as many people as anybody else does going up the hill if they
because you're next to the,
you know, they're here and they come in the shop and they say, well, we're just going to have to head up, and it's 4:00 on a December afternoon, and you're thinking, you know, and they think they're going to get up and down in half an hour. You know, they think they're fell runners, and they're
it's
not.
scary how quick. I mean, it's a bit like the sea. When you're out in the sea, it can change.
It fills in quickly.
I mean, I went up. I remember one time I went up Goat Fell, and it was a beautiful day. There were people in deck chairs all watching. You know, just sitting there having picnics. And just before we got to the top, one cloud came over, and the next thing it was like something out the storm. It was horrific. And there's nowhere really to shelter. So, I mean, we got back, as soon as we went down below the cloud, we were fine. It was okay. And we were actually properly kitted out. But it really is quite scary how quickly it can change.
Changes, definitely. Yeah, be prepared. You know, it's back to what you were asking about, you know, getting team members because of the commitment. We had a big intake at the beginning of this winter. We train November through to May, sometimes April, first Sunday of the month, and then we have exercises in between and night exercises and whatnot. And I think it was 5 or 6 of an intake this year, which is great. You know, through the winter they'll be taught everything from first aid, rope work, navigation, night navigation, you know, and on and on it goes. Someone always brings something to the team. That's what I'm trying to say as well. You know, you don't need to be an expert in all these things to join the team, because there's loads of really good training courses. So we've got, I think it's 5 or 6 in this year, who are at the end of the winter and into the summer, they may be involved in call-outs. And sometimes they'll turn around and say, it's not for me, and leave, you know, depending on what we're doing. Others get really enthusiastic, get into it, and they're there for years.
It's a huge commitment. I mean, it is a big commitment. And there's more women, I think, involved in it now.
Absolutely.
Still got Kirsty.
We've got Kirsty, Susie, Lucy. I'm probably going to miss someone out of here. I think that's it. Am I right in saying? I think that's it. 3.
That's great. So
Kirsty does the dog handling, which is great, fantastic. A lot of resources at our disposal.
Yep, good. You had some questions for us.
We
don't normally accept guests that have questions for us, do we?
Well,
yeah, but this is a special guest.
This I'd like to call, if you don't mind,
It might be special.
asking for a friend. So the questions are from a couple of friends, right? Now, the other thing I probably should have said at Mountain Rescue Team, you join the Mountain Rescue Team, and this friend is in the Mountain Rescue Team, the first one is,
right.
You get a nickname. It doesn't matter what you want to be called, what you've been called for the rest of your life, you get a nickname, and that's it. If team members come in and tell us what their nickname is, we never use it. We
You have your own special nickname for the Mountain Rescue?
So this one is from Ian, or as we know him as Cavonia, as he's always got a bit of a tickly cough. So Ian has asked me this. He said, would you ever consider having a phone-in spot in your show? As he's very shy and would never come on something like this. He would phone in but he'd never come on something.
Yeah, we've actually got the software that we use to run this, and obviously we could just do it with the audio and the camera, but we do have considerable software. I don't know whether you'll see that, but all the little screens and everything else we're able to access, things like the names popping up, allow us to do that. The package that we lease has got the opportunity to have a one phone in line coming in, but we need a laptop with it to be able to.
Do you think you would need? Well, I think if Ian was phoning in, Ian's got a touch of Tourette's, unfortunately, and I think you would possibly need a loop. So
a wee BP machine.
Some of the shows have like a 40-second loop or something, so you can edit out.
And a wee beep button.
Yeah.
We are. I don't know quite how it works, because obviously if we could take a phone in, what we're broadcasting goes out about 25 seconds later than.
Right.
So I'm not quite sure how it all works yet. It was difficult enough just getting used to what we're doing with this stuff. But yes,
Maybe by the summer we'll,
I
we'll
don't
be
think
doing.
he appreciated that comment.
Anyway,
Or is that some kind of special dish he's coming up with?
sending a cube any chance? My second question and final question actually is from Scott, and Scott's asking about keeping fit. He's a bit of a fitness fanatic himself, and his speciality pole dancing. Scott, that's what keeps him fit, which is a fantastic hobby nowadays. I'm just not sure what shoes he wears doing it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they wear these really high
if he's really
platforms.
grasped that, I don't know.
Does he have a garter? Do you wear the garters too? No.
We've never been that close. So he's asking what you guys do to keep
I
fit.
think maybe I should have had that on a bit beforehand, not.
What we
keeping
do to
fit.
keep fit?
What do you do?
I just like walking.
Yeah.
I love walking. That's it's therapy. It's everything in all level.
Absolutely.
Go for a walk. Absolutely love it. And I mean, when you live in this island, you're spoilt for choice. It's where do you go? There's so many places. You won't get bored. Although I do like Glen Ashdale. I like the circuit
The
there.
loop, yeah.
The loop. It's just I can do that without really thinking too much.
80 times I counted one day in the summer climbing those 2 flights of stairs there up
That
to my
sounds-
office.
that sounds good.
So that's pretty good.
Was that just chasing the dog?
You probably that was a couple of summers ago. I counted how many times we were up and downstairs. But yeah, the dog certainly
My dog will keep you fit.
takes
I
it
miss
out of
not
me.
their dog.
Yeah, he's uber fast, that dog as well.
So that was asking for a friend. Thank you very
thank
much.
you,
Here we
thank
go.
you very much.
Thank you.
Are we finished? Are we done?
I think
Have we got any more questions?
I've got. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things on in the evenings, and if you get your local paper, the Arran Banner, then it will tell you what's happening. So don't
I have to
really
go back
need
and say hello to Mark Cox. A friend of mine his wife is down in India at the moment. My friend Sophie, and she tagged me. Well, she messaged me this
India?
morning. She messaged me from somewhere near the Taj Mahal to say that the ferry was having problems in Ardrossan. So we do have this global reach on our, and
We did talk about having a map and with pins on it to see
yeah, we
where
will do
everybody
that one
was.
day. Yeah, and because
quite like
we've
that
got
idea.
we've got people that we know watch us live in New Zealand and Australia. I've got my friends in the Cook Islands in Rarotonga. You will remember the Robertsons, I think, in Loch Ranza, who used to have the Avaloch Tea Room in Loch Ranza.
Yes.
And Butt Lodge as well. They had
Yep.
Butt Lodge too. So they watch from the Cook Islands, whether they watch it live or just afterwards. I don't
From
know.
under the couch.
But yeah, we have people watching. Well, wherever on the beach with that lot. I tell you, it's just a gorgeous place. But Charles Curry's saying that we need to apply talc to our heads next time. Yeah,
Well, is there a sheen there, is it, Charles? I did have my shower this week.
yeah.
before I came.
Thanks, Charles, very much for that. First and last time he's going to be on the show. Anyway, I think we're done. Thank you very much for Mark. for
Thank
coming,
you, it's been great.
And, thank you for the for bringing the missus in as well, even though she didn't want to come on. I think we'll get you on next
The
time.
smells we've got here from the
We're trying
the
to
pesto
convince.
and things
We're
are
trying
fantastic.
to convince people that we're nice and friendly and easygoing and everything else.
Very much so, yes.
But well, you
Absolutely.
can support that now. So, thank you very much. We will be here, I think, as usual next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have guests lined up for the next 3 or 4 weeks now, which is great. But we will have to start looking at using other venues. I think soon.
Getting
as
out and
well.
about.
So, yeah.
Better weather for that, though.
Yep. Yep. What are you doing this week? Are you?
What am I doing? I'm just working away this week.
I've been writing my book,
You've been writing your book.
my Canada book, my Cross Canada.
When did you start that? You started that.
I started the book about Monday.
When did you start it?
I had all the photographs. I had all the text. I've actually just started to put it together, and it will only take me another week.
Where
Because
did you start? Where did you start?
it's St John's in Newfoundland to
Right.
Victoria, BC, and back again
Good.
in 3 weeks. So I think I'm the only person in the world to have done it
I did
in
follow you when you were doing
that
it,
time zone. So I'm busy with that, writing up at home.
I look forward to reading that.
So that'll be a good one to get that out, because I know there's at least one person that wants a copy of it. So, and so a quick hello to Mark. Thank you, Mark, for popping on and saying hello. And we shall see you next week.
Next week,
Bye
same
from me.
time, same channel.
Bye from
Bye.
him, and bye from Tracy.
Bye now.
Bye bye.